So being able to continuously verify people, both from a credential and authentication perspective, as well as an identity verification perspective, is critical, because we've seen recently a lot of instances where individuals are outsourcing their jobs. So if you go on Reddit, there's a Overemployed subreddit, right, where people are like talking about how they're juggling 3, 4, 5 different jobs at a time. There's also now nation state efforts, like with North Korea, where they have entire groups organized and basically set up to do jobs on behalf of U.S. employees. And so I think people have read the article of that lady. I think it was in Tennessee or Arizona somewhere, where she had like 40 corporate issued laptops in her house, and people were remoting into those laptops and doing the jobs.
I just don't have the chutzpah to do something like that myself, but I'm sure it's happening. So what are companies doing about this today? How are they solving this problem? You mentioned it got hot at the beginning of the pandemic. Was that the last chapter of that book?
Well, it was like, typically before the pandemic, it was like you get a job at a company, you start on day one, you get verified, you get issued an MFA credential, and then that's it. Like, that MFA credential is you for the rest of your career there, right? And so that's no longer the feasible way of doing identity security at the employee level anymore. Now, you have to be able to continuously verify people to make sure that the person sitting behind that laptop is the person who's supposed to be sitting behind that laptop, and the person who has access to the MFA credential is the right person who should have access to the MFA credential. Right? There's so many instances now of individuals like sharing their MFA with others, right, or issuing new MFA credentials to them. And so this concept of you have like a seesaw type of thing, where you have to have a strong MFA credential. I think that's what Passkeys and the FIDO Alliance have been working really hard towards, and vendors like us, to make sure that that thing is not phishable and all that. But then you also have to make sure that that credential is being used by the right person at all times. So that's where the identity verification piece is similarly important. And so now what we're seeing companies starting to do is things like, hey, if you're a contractor or a remote employee at our company, you have to go through identity verification, at certain increments, every 3 months, 6 months, or maybe if the level of risk justifies it. And this is the exciting part for me, because we're finally starting to see the convergence of identity and security.